Before we get started this morning, I would like to say that as I go through the agenda, I will ask for a motion and a second on the agenda items requiring a vote. I will then allow questions only as it relates to the current agenda item under consideration using the microphone. Persons using the microphone must first state their first and last name and their lot numbers. Then I will call for a vote. The vote will be taken by show of hands or by ballot. When the meeting is adjourned, I will open the floor for questions. Gracias. All questions must be made using the microphone on the right side, by the right side of the table. In order to be fair and provide an opportunity for the most people present to access the microphone, the speaker will be limited to either one statement or one question, with an option for one follow-up question. If the same speaker wishes another turn at the microphone, they must go to the end of the line and come ahead again. Okay, now I will proceed for the installment of the assembly. In accordance with Article 49 of the Rules and Regulations, the required notice was made to all owners of the Association of Condominiums La Ventana del Mar. In accordance with Article 49, Fraction F, I will preside the assembly representation of the administrator, and I designate at this moment Mrs. Sarina Valverde, who is over there, as Secretary of the Assembly. Now, at first call, we have not reached quorum yet. We have 21 owners and we have 2 proxies. Developer votes 188. So we will wait for the second call, 15 minutes. We can keep talking nice. Thank you. In second call, we have not reached yet the quorum, but there is no more registration going on, I think, so we will go with the numbers we have. Please, sir. Okay, the Sarina is counting the numbers again. We'll do it as soon as I have. Okay, the second call, the numbers is owners 33, proxies 2, developer 188. So there's no more registration.
I'm surprised that we should be that one.
33. 33. 21, the first one. 21, 33 now. Proxies 2 and 2 in this counting. Developer same number 188. So there's no more registration, so I will miss the third call so we can make this faster. Right now, the next point in the agenda is to assign the clerks for the meeting. I will request volunteers, 2 people, and you, the ones that are that would like to help us, please raise your hand. It's hard to choose from that many. We need somebody to count the votes. Okay, we have one. I need another one. Okay, we have both right now. Thank you very much. Sarina, can you take the names of our clerks, please, so we can put them in the agenda? Thank you. Okay, the next point is to approve the November 2017 Ordinary Assembly meeting minutes, registered in Mexicali and posted in the HOA website. You will receive that one, and do I have a motion to approve them? Second, all in favor? Perfect, okay. There's apparently nobody opposing it. Thank you, it passed. I want to introduce now the current supervisory committee members of La Ventana, Mrs. Denise Lavin and Hans Walshut. So you are the supervisors. And I want to thank them for the great work that they do. They are always present and helping and supporting the committee of supervisors and working with the HOA to do the good things that we do. Okay, the next point in the agenda is the nomination and election of one supervisor committee member in accordance with Article 66 for a 2-year term. I received, according to the new process that we established 1 month ago, that we will receive nominations by mail. We received one, which is for Mr. Hans Walshut. He wants to run for supervisor again this year. So here is Hans, and he will give you, oh, sorry. And before he speaks in the microphone, I would like to open the floor for another nomination that somebody would like to do. Nobody? Okay, then we will proceed with Mr. Hans Walshut. Can you please give us your information, personal information, right there in the podium? We have that. Yeah, it's on the website, but I think that sometimes there is people who hasn't been here or known before. So please, let's
Well, anyway, my wife and I have lived here since Okay. Well, my wife and I have lived here since May of 2010. In November of 2010, I got first elected to the supervisory committee. So this is my 9th year coming up. We used to live in Orange County. Over there, I was a member of our neighborhood HOA for 12 years, the last 4 as the president. So I was kind of available what HOA committees are supposed to be doing and what supervisors are supposed to be doing. And the year after I got elected here, in 2011, Denise got elected. So we've been working together for the last 8 years. And when you see the presentation I'm going to give, that's kind of like something that Denise originally designed, and we've been kind of perfecting it and trying. The whole purpose of it is to give as much information as lucidly as possible and as short as possible, because we all just want to go back to the beach or the golf course or whatever, right? So anyway, I have as my goals is first of all, to keep the dues as low as possible without impacting the services that we need to provide. The other thing is related to marketing. As soon as the financial refinancing comes through, we'll hopefully have a really good marketing program again. And based on past experience, the thing that people are looking for the most, besides the beach and the nice things, is security. Security is worth everything in Mexico in general and here also. So that's why I've been bringing it up that we need an electronic fence on this side, just as we have one on the other side. On the other side, there's very few break-ins anymore compared to what it was before the fence came in. Because the word gets around, you try to break in, you're going to get caught. Right? But here, the beach side, I mean, we have a fence around it, which never stops anybody who wants to steal something. But they know that they don't even have to scale a fence because they just walk in from the beach side, right? Now, we can't have an electronic fence on 24 hours on the beach side, but then people don't really break in during the day anyway. So this has been discussed, and we'll probably would have it on from 10 at So anyway, that was one of the things I hope to accomplish as soon as there's a refinancing and we can install that. Well, the other thing is, I guess, that we need to all be aware of that as we have renters, these renters like what they see. Most of the renters are Mexican nationals, so we need to, start having some sort of program where we can integrate our diversity here. And so those are the things that I keep in mind when I am a supervisor, when I go to our monthly meetings. And those meetings, by the way, they're pretty significant. They're never less than 3 hours. I mean, there have been meetings that have lasted twice as long. When we have any particular interesting subjects to discuss. So, I don't know, I was a program manager practically all my life, and I know about budgets, and I know about cutting costs, and I know about marketing and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, I want to thank you all very much in advance for voting for me. I know I got so much competition today, so I really appreciate you voting for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, right now it's, I am going to ask if we have, I lost my word, sorry. Do we have a motion to close the nominations? Second? Okay, just say aye, whoever is in favor.
Aye.
Okay, there's nobody in opposition to that.
Which is gracious.
Okay, so now
Be aware what
we
you
close
wish.
the nominations. Do we have a motion to accept Mr. Hans Walshall like the new supervisor for Ventana and Mark? Yep. Second?
Second.
Very well, so now let's vote for Mr. Hans Walshall to become the supervisor for another 2 terms in accordance with Article 66 of the Rules and Regulations. Those in favor say yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We're done with the election of the supervisor. Now we will go to Supervisors Committee report. Please, Hans, go ahead.
Can everybody hear me when I just start? No?
Better with the mic.
The microphone?
It adds a richness to your voice.
You want riches to my voice? Okay, very good. Anyway, as I said to you folks who come here regularly, this looks pretty familiar, and that's by design. We just want to have the format the same, so we know this is how it works and works pretty efficiently. Okay, next one, please. So these are the 4 categories that we will have information on. It will just basically we will just quickly go through the basic information and responsibilities, and then we'll give the status, and then finally some comments. Okay. I think if you could put the whole thing on, please. Okay, so nominally then we have 830 lots here, including a bunch of super lots that originally went on sale for around $400,000. And we have, when all the condos are completed, 300 of them. So altogether, the La Ventana del Mar HOA will have 1,130 dues-paying owners someday in the future when we have the refinancing and everything gets sold. Now, and I'll keep that number in mind, but because we get a couple slides further down, we will compare that with what we actually have. Now, the Las Vegas, of course, everybody knows, has got a separate budget and two separate HOAs. But the overall La Ventana del Mar HOA gets money from the Las Vegas budget, and this year it's about $100,000, which is about $10K less than what it was last year, and that's because we lost more dues-paying people. Okay, so can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so the 100K that the Las Vegas provides to the HOA are the management, accounting, the facilities, the pools, electricity and water for the common area. Next. Okay, remember what I said about we had 1,130 potential owners, but we only have about half of them right now. 237, so there's only 356 dues paying. I mean, we have half of them that are still on our owners list, but 237 are delinquent, and we only have 356 budgeted owners for La Ventana del Mar. Okay, our responsibilities. So what we basically do, we watch the management, and that's what we do in the monthly supervisors meetings, and we go through the financial reports, we ask questions, we make suggestions. Sometimes they get accepted and sometimes they don't get accepted. This past year, the four managers of La Ventana, being the four supervisors of La Ventana del Mar, proposed a specific assessment, and we really fought hard for that, what we thought was a wonderful concept, but it didn't get accepted. So that's just an example how we do oversight. And it sounds kind of like trivial, but really I think we do have an influence on what's happening and what gets approved. Okay. Yeah, and the way, what we do, we look at the budget every month, we look at where the money goes, we look how much money is in the bank, we look at the delinquents, and we're trying to get, we have people calling constantly to convince people that they should become current again with their dues, and we have the cash flow. So, of course, all these reports are available on the website in case you want to go into detail on them. Yeah, ElDoradoRanchHOA.com.mx. Now, the things we do get communicated in the monthly newsletter, which is the same newsletter for both sides. So this is one piece of information, one avenue of communication that is kind of like the same for the whole El Dorado Ranch. Now, if you're not getting it in your email, then you need to go to one of the ladies here from the HOA office and give your email address. And then if you do that, you'll automatically every month get your report. Now the other thing, okay, so it's important, please do it. Overall status. Okay, the first bullet, based on our review of the monthly reports, we judge, Denise and I, the administration of the HOA is satisfactory. Now, satisfactory is kind of a legal term. It's either satisfactory or unsatisfactory. But I actually want to say, from my experience and what I have done on HOA management, it's actually excellent, okay? In comparison to the administrator that we had prior to Roberto, Roberto does so much more and constantly, always knows everything that's going on here. I don't think you can ask him a question and he doesn't have some sort of answer or some sort of referral. I really think we are very lucky to have Roberto. And he didn't ask me to say that. I just want you to know that. So, yeah, okay. I mean, the budgets get done, done and reviewed. He constantly looks how he can reduce costs, which is very important, especially since we're still in a downslope as far as paying dues members is concerned. And he's open to hear from the supervisors and talk with them at any time. Go ahead. Okay, this is, we always stick this in here, it's very important. In September of 2016, I was doing what I love to do here, is work in my yard and trim my palm trees, and I took a step sideways and my left foot got caught and I flew to the ground and couldn't even get up. Had to crawl to my front door. And my wife was totally in panic, and this is okay. Call 576-0345. Everybody, if you're here, remember that number, and that's what you have to call, and then they will take care, they will send the ambulance over, and the police, or whatever's necessary, okay? So that's why we're putting that number, have it on your refrigerator door, have it on your bathroom mirror, whatever. That number is very important to your well-being here. And just when you least expect it, that's when you will need it. Now we, as supervisors, we do the monthly reports and, all the violations, all the incidents like parking tickets and speeding tickets and all the trips that the ambulance is involved in. So all that information, we usually have a pretty good idea what's going on security-wise, accident-wise, and everything that goes on the ranch. Okay. Now this is another thing I just want to quickly spend a couple of minutes on. We have a new contract. We're going into a second year of a new contract, and the thing to emphasize that many people don't realize, we don't have a regular medical clinic. We don't even have an emergency clinic. We have an urgent care clinic. Something happens to you, they can do everything to get you either to wherever you want to go. You want to go to the Centro de Salud to get further treatment, or you want to go to El Centro to go to the medical center over there. But we have an urgent care clinic, which means you can be satisfied, you can totally expect to be treated for the urgent things and then be transported to where you need to go to get the final treatment that you need. So there's quite a bit of things that you get for free, but that's basically what we're paying the, I think it's $9 a month basically for everybody that's here as a dues paying member. Okay, can go to the next one please. Okay, I'm not sure if everybody knows about the new ATV policy that has been instituted. I live on the 7th hole, and we have a 2-story house, and we watch what's going on the 6th, 7th, and 8th hole, and very often when people that come here on the weekend with a trailer with a couple ATVs and a couple 7 or 8-year-old kids, these ATVs with the kids on them are running around, and it's wonderful to have all those nice green grass to run around on. Well, it costs a lot. It has been costing a lot to maintain them, and there's always the danger that something happens to the kids, and that would be a problem. So, that basically said that no short-term renters can have an ATV, can use an ATV on La Ventana del Mar. So when they come here, they have to park their car. There's a secure parking area across the street from the main entrance. Now, if you are an owner and live here, well, whatever, whenever you're an owner, then when you pay your dues, you can get a sticker for your ATV and you can drive around here fully under the expectation that as an owner, you're not going to go destroy the golf course or anything, right? So it doesn't affect people that have long-term leases or that are owners here. Now, some of you will have your lot in the master trust. I'm sorry, yes, sir.
When will those stickers be available?
The stickers? The stickers? Well, when you pay your dues. Your dues for the year. If you already paid it, you can go down and get it now.
Well,
I'm sorry? Yeah, you can get them now, right.
But it would be a 2018 sticker.
Sure.
2019.
You can go to, if you have an ATV and you're fully paid up with your dues, you can go to the office now and get a sticker.
well, we were told that we can't have one this year because they don't stick on the outside, they stick on the inside of the windshield.
Okay, I don't know. Do you agree with that? They don't get it this year?
No, we can, there's ways we can add it. Yeah, we already saw that. Just go with that.
Yes, no, there's always a way to stick the sticker to the car because it's not needed forcing the windshield. It can be in several areas of the car. You just go to customer service and we will stick it to your car. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to add, this came up yesterday, and there's a lot of people that may not have a bill of sale on their ATV if it's something they bought here or whatever. So in those cases, we were told yesterday, have a photograph of your vehicle, and they keep that on record versus a bill of sale or something that proves you own it, because the concern is they want to make sure that each ATV is owned by, in fact, an owner here. So you have to have some proof that you own it, and again, if you don't have conventional proof, then a photograph of the vehicle is sufficient, as I understand it.
Thank you very much. I asked for your help because I don't have an ATV, so I don't really worry about this.
Other than your legs.
Okay, some of the lots here in La Ventana del Mar are on a master trust. It was originally taken care of by HSBC, but HSBC got caught money laundering all over the world and had to pay a few $1 million fine to the IRS or whatever, so they got rid of their trust department. And now we do business with the BIM, and I will try to say it in what the name means. It's the Banco Inmobiliario de Mexico. Okay, but that's what BIM stands for. It's the Real Estate Bank of Mexico. That's the gringo translation. Okay, those of us who have built here and probably got an individual fideicomiso before you start building, like I did. Pat Butler, mostly Doreen, they're working on a protocol on what to do to get your fideicomiso transferred to Ben. Anybody wants to make any questions or comments on that? No? So we've been told within the month coming up, before the end of the year, there will be a process that will come before the supervisors and will be commented on and finalized. And so that's important. If you own your lot here and you have a fideicomiso, because you need to pay dues every year, okay? I mean, Mexican government for years now has been trying to get rid of the requirement that foreigners cannot own real estate within 50 miles or 50 kilometers from the border. So, but we still have to do that. Now, if you change your address, be sure not only to let the HOA office know, but remind them that also your address needs to be changed for Concord, because Concord still does all the billing for the HOA. Now, proxies, that's a rule that's been around as long as I've known, that everybody that is a paid-up owner can have two proxies per person per lot. No, per person, not per lot. So if you have 15 lots, you can still only have 2 proxies. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's the rule. Okay, next please. All right. Finally, the budget. Okay, you can go to the next one. Yeah. Okay, so the first line item, I think that Roberto will discuss budget in detail. I know you did that yesterday, so. So the contribution, the projected contribution, that's not right. Somebody screwed with this here. La Ventana contribution is not actually. LVDM dues is 678,466. The La Ventana contribution is the second line. We expect to get from the technical review committee. You know, anytime you start building or changing something, you have to go out there and pay a fee to maintain the TRC. So we expect to get $50,000. And
That's resort fees, probably.
I'm sorry. That's the TRC is 8,000. Right. Yeah, and the resort fee is 50,000. Right. Okay. So I don't know. Yesterday was okay. I don't know what happened, but well, okay. A bad Friday. So anyway, altogether, our projected income is $841,042.
So, could you say the resort fee again? I'm not sure that's...
The resort fee is to 50,000. 5,000. Down at the bottom. That's La Ventana del Mar. No, La Ventana, Las Vegas will have a budget.
And that's this side's share of the resort fee, or the...
No, that's just La Ventana's.
Resort fee, okay.
Actually, we don't have that many houses that we rented.
Things got discombobulated.
It lined up
We
wrong.
had them all lined up, and when we took away so that it could be on one sheet, then they got it in order. So La Ventana's dues is the $678,000. Las Villas contributions is the $99,000. The delinquency collections is $50,000. Resort fees is $5,000, and the TRC is $8,000.
Okay.
So that they got double. And when you see the actual budget, it's on the budget that you got in the mail.
Technical review committee. Anytime you want to do something to your house or build a house, whatever, there's a procedure, there's a protocol that you have to go down and get approved and all that, and that process, they have to charge for that because the people that do that as an architects, and they need to get paid. I'm sorry?
If you sell your property, there's a transfer fee of
No. TRC is strictly for the appearance of the common appearance. It's kind of like the CC&Rs in California. Okay, next one, please.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, any more questions?
Yes. Do you lien the places that are not paying their homeowners' dues? You lien them?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, that just keeps adding, totaling up.
And
Yeah.
then whenever they sell, we get the dues?
Absolutely.
Okay, you
Yeah.
didn't mention that.
Yeah, just kind of basic common sense.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
right.
Question, how did the 5,000 resold fees were determined? How did you come up with
Don't
this money?
forget, a budget is a plan, a projection, right? We have around 75 houses built in La Ventana del Mar. When you drive around, you can see this today. So of those 75, I don't know, a dozen people will have their houses up for rent. And so when they rent out their house, they get a 30, was it 30 or should it become a $35? $30 fee. And so we just guess based on past experience that there's going to be, how many times 30 goes into 5,000, that there's going to be that many rentals and that many resort fees being paid.
So riddle me this, I heard yesterday that in July alone, this year, the income for the HOA paid by the El Dorado rental department was in excess of $10,000 in July alone.
Okay,
Only.
most of the rentals are from about and more. You have to go to the 1 o'clock meeting.
The villas.
The villas.
The vast majority.
I'm sorry, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The condos.
So what you're saying is 5,000 is only for...
La Ventana del Mar without the condos.
Oh,
Okay? Yeah, thank you for the question. I guess maybe other people were confused. Okay. Okay, as a final comment is that the 2017 audit's been completed. You can test your Spanish and read it in Spanish if you like on the website, or you can just read it in English. And all the previous year's audits are on the website also. Okay, so I don't know if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
Podium.
So number one, the 5,000, that would be after the split with the mountainside, is that correct? As I understand it, the split used to be 50-50. It's been changed now to where this side, both the villas and La Ventana del Mar, keeps 70 and pays the other side 30.
It's part of the 70.
Okay,
That
so...
La Ventana gets as opposed to what Leslie's budget gets.
Correct, okay, so I got that. I was also to understand that split was renegotiated from 50-50 to 50-30, or 70-30. And apparently, since that was done last year, that was done before yesterday's vote. So I'm curious if there are thoughts.
Last year being this year.
Correct. So we are going to be paying 30% for this year, in spite of the vote yesterday, where this side is no longer able to use the pool. So my question is, are there thoughts of renegotiating that 30%, since no longer can renters use the pool on the other side?
Part of the reason is that it was changed from 50-50 to 30-70 is because they figured, they don't have to pay for the maintenance of the pool and whatever anymore. So
it was,
they get I mean, by far, the condos generate the greatest resort fees income.
I understand, but and again, I'm confused on this issue sometimes. I know there are two different divisions, but it's one HOA.
Two different budgets for one HOA.
Yeah, okay. So, again, it all comes out of kind of the same pocket. So, my question, again, is, it would seem to me the change from 50-50 to 50-30 was, or 70-30, I'm sorry, was again either just made arbitrarily or it was made on the assumption that the pool deal would pass. So my first question is, was it just made because it was necessary to be made, or was it made on the assumption that this side would no longer be able to use the pool on the other side?
No, let me say this. 2018 is the present moment, and it is 50-50. It's going to start 70-30 starting January 1st. So that's when it's going to change. The people is going to stop, the renters are not allowed until January 1st next year. So this is not affecting one contract or no contract, one agreement or the other. Because right now it is 50-50 and the people still can go until December 31st. And January 1st, when it becomes 70-30, that's when it changes. So,
okay, so that answers the question that it was assumed beforehand that the non-use of the pool over there would pass.
It was just like
it is what it is.
It's like a budget.
Yeah, that's
we have to figure out if...
So, how is my next question would be, how is it determined that even a 30% split is fair then, if there's no use for renters on this side of the pool over there? What are we paying the 30% for?
Well, one of the things is, for example,
They have,
one of the things is that the owners are able to go, and their visitors and their friends and relatives, I mean, or long-term people renting. So that's part of it. The second part of it is, for example, the use of equipment from DDR that is used at random time.
Historically, that's what HOA deals are for.
But importantly, maybe more importantly, they have rental income also on the other side.
And which isn't that separate? They keep all of that? That's what I understand.
Yes.
So their rental income, they get all of it.
No, they get
Is that?
30% of all the total resort fee.
Oh, okay, so that's the answer to my question. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
So resort fees from both sides are combined. Then 30% of that aggregate combination is paid back to that side. Okay, that's a direct answer to my question.
Because that was expected to be what they're earning over there.
I got it, and I think that's fair.
Okay, I'm Gary Lambert. I'm a supervisor in the villas, along with Martha. Let me explain it this way. We generate about $100,000 a year, and that's a projected on our budget on the resort fee. Previously, it was split 50-50, and 25 of that was because renters used the pool over there, so we paid that. The other 25 was for something else. This year, it's 70-30. Now, ours next year, they get. The mountainside generates maybe 8 or 10% of the rental income. La Ventana, the houses, generate about 5%. The villas, condos, we generate the rest of it. They're only getting $5,000, and that's basically what they've got, except for a couple years over the years. The $65,000 that the villas are getting, where we should get probably $85,000 or something like 85%. 40% of that is going directly to the maintenance of the sewage treatment plant, which is a little over $100,000 a year. The balance of that, the $60,000, is being split equally between La Ventana, the houses, and the villas. Now, the reason we don't get, at this point in time, that the villas doesn't get more is because as a nonprofit, you can't have over more than 5% earned income above your dues, or you lose your nonprofit status. So our combined income is 1.6 million or something like that. And then you have to subtract out the resort fee from it, so maybe 1.4.
Right.
So we can only legally take about 70 or 75,000 unless we work out some other accounting mechanism where that isn't recorded as earned income. If we take more than that, then we are in jeopardy of losing our nonprofit status. That's kind of how it's working right now.
Okay, now that answers the question, and you use the word currently, which means you have in fact thought about potentially increasing the amount you keep. And of course, you can do that as rents go up and as more condos get sold. I mean, my only concern is I live on both sides, so I worry about the income for both sides. And I see income perhaps, rental amounts aggregately going down, which doesn't affect us at all, but it does affect some owners.
Yeah,
and of course the fee, as fewer rentals happen, the fee gets reduced and everybody loses money. So,
correct. And the 5% cap, it used to be 4%, now it's 5%. There are accounting ways to address that have been proposed, but currently the general manager, Jesus Olmos, anyway, they haven't bought into that, but there's ways to get around that, where we could take, the CSAC could take our total portion of that resort fee. So we're working on that.
sorry.
Okay. Ross, are you sorry now you asked a question? No. Okay. Oh, you ever wanted to know about resort fee? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I gotta clarify that. I'm a little confused. Is it 5,000 you had that listed or 50,000?
5.
Now, this gentleman was talking about a total of 100,000.
Las Vegas. Two different budgets. Condos.
100,000.
No, but he said a combination of rental income of the condos, La Ventana, and the other side, all together is estimated to be $100,000.
And rental income being the resort fee.
Rental income. We're talking about rental fees.
Not resort fees.
Resort fees, the $30.
Resort fees.
Yes,
Okay.
resort fees.
So, what am I missing here? If we split 50-50, half of 100,000 is 50.
It was, but not anymore.
Well, wait a minute. 50-50 is no longer would be applicable after the first.
The seaside, think of it as a whole, because the villas are a sub-part of, we're one HOA over here. La Ventana, the houses, have their budget. The villas, Las Villas, has their budget, but we're all one HOA. The La Ventana del Mar, the houses generate about $5,000 a year in resort fee from people who rent their property. That's what you're getting.
Okay, so this number does not include the condos.
Not from you. The condos generate 80-some% of the resort fee, but we're only getting 65,000. A total on the seaside of 70,000 out of 100 anticipated generated resort fee income. The mountainside, even though they only generate about 10,000 a year resort fee, this year they get 30,000. Previous years they got 50, but we were paying a premium, the seaside, of 25,000 of our resort fee to help maintain their pool and the maintenance because of all the renters who went over there.
I'm trying to understand the 5,000. Where does that come from?
Do you have a lot here in La Ventana?
Yes.
Do you have a condo?
Both.
Okay, so you have a lot here. Do you
Yes.
have a house on it?
No.
Okay, if you had a house, you could rent it out.
Right.
And when you rent it out, every time you rent it out, you get a $30 resort fee.
Right,
That's the
right.
5,000.
Where's the light, please?
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay, so build your house and then rent it out, and then you can get 30, well, we get charged $30 for the house. Can't hear.
Related to the resort fee, it is a per visit
Yes.
charge. Is there a reason why we wouldn't be setting a resort fee based on a nightly?
Well, it has been discussed, but you know, there's a lot of competition where people can go. And $30 versus $50 is a lot of pesos difference, you know. Most of the people that come here from Mexicali, and they have there's lots of hotels and everything. So at some point, you know, we kind of based it on experience, that's still, people are still willing to pay that without saying, okay, we're getting screwed by those gringos, we're going to go someplace else.
Also, as I said before, there is a cap, 5%, that we can take in as non-dues income. So we can't charge a whole bunch more because then we would lose our nonprofit status. So we've kept it at a working number so that we do benefit from that, but we're still nonprofit.
Let me make a note. What Denise is saying is very important because it is true. Remember that the HOA is not a business. It's an association that serves a community. So the government of Mexico has that cap in the income, not directly from dues. Any income from dues is not taxable, no problem. But any other income that the HOA does, if it exceeds that cap that the government has cited, then we will pay taxes, not in that not in the exceed amount. We lose our status and we will pay over everything. So that's why we are very careful not to exceed that. And when we make all this dealing with the resort fees, we have to assign the money to each HOA or the subdivision of La Ventana between the Las Niñas and La Ventana and Mar, not to exceed, especially in La Ventana and Mar because it's the lower one in income, that percentage. If we do that, and this is something that we need to be very, very careful. For example, EDR has more than 3 million budget. That the cap is wider. But, for example, if La Ventana, who has the lowest cap exceeds, it affects everybody. So imagine if that happened. We cannot let that happen. So that's why we are, when we go through the resort fee, let me tell you that we go in super detail. Because it's critical for that, to keep our status. Yes, sir.
One more question to that resort fee issue. I just wanted to know why the resort fees are not distributed the way as they are collected. It's super easy to keep track where they come from. From the houses or from the mountainside.
It's when we do this, and let me tell you that it's the fairest, we distribute it the fairest way as possible. Taking account, remember that, for example, you have 2 supervisors in La Ventana del Mar, they are looking into that. The supervisors from the Las Villas, they are looking into getting their fair share, and EDR is looking into their fair share. So everybody is looking. This is not something that I allocate myself or my financial manager do by himself. No, we are sitting here for hours discussing and seeing and making numbers. If sometimes we say, well, let's say this, and then the financial manager says, let me make the numbers. No, this exists. We cannot accept that. We have to lower it, and then we restart. But the way it is this year, I think so, is it doesn't exceed anywhere. And I think so it's a very well balanced resort fee budget. We will still have to go through the year, and remember, a budget, it's a budget. It's a premonition of how things are going to go.
So
yes,
did you get the concept that we cannot exceed the money? I mean, I'm sorry?
Yes.
I mean, that is very important. I mean, that's why it doesn't, I mean, we have to play around with it so that each of the budgets doesn't exceed that 5% of dues paid. Okay? And, you know, somehow when we do the budget, if we get a little bit more than we can claim, then we'll know, whatever, we'll get some little bit more service from folks on the other side or something. Nobody's getting screwed in here. Denise and I really are trying to figure this out to the greatest amount of detail to make it work legally. Okay?
I've asked this question and been told that there is furniture on order for La Palapa Pool. It seems to me with the resort fees we're talking about, there should be a place to sit over there.
Yes.
They are on the way.
Yeah, they are on the way.
When?
They are on the way. They will be arriving by 2 weeks more, something like that. This road in the United States, they have to be sent from wherever they are to the border. They have to wait there to be imported. Once they are imported, they have to send them over here. We have been working on this for several weeks. So let me tell you that I am the first one to have them over there.
I have a question, and it might have been answered during other meetings, but I'm concerned that the renters are not allowed to have the ATVs here. I don't understand why we're cutting off our nose to spite our face. If they are doing damage or if they are not following rules, why aren't they penalized for it? We have plenty of security. People can say that they've, seen certain ones, and we can stop it that way. I have already felt a decrease. I can't imagine anybody who comes to Mexico, who wants to have fun, who has four-wheel vehicles, are ever going to come here anymore. They're going to go to Pete's Camp, they're going to go south, they're going to go to other places. Okay. Because you don't come to Mexico not to ride your ATV if you have one.
Okay, we have the best ATV course on the other side of the mountain. All you have to do is cross the street, and you can all day long and not destroy anything. And the penalties, we have done it. We tried it up to now. Okay, but it's just, and there's also a security in terms of safety, because it's unbelievable. I see those kids driving around on those ATVs going 35, 40 miles an hour. I'm sorry? We have tried that, but in the meantime, the golf course gets damaged. And the fines don't pay for it. We ban them and fine them and ban them, but fixing the golf course is very expensive.
Ask for the microphone.
Then maybe what we should do is have our own police. Let me say something. Let me say something. First of all, this was not a decision made by the HOAs, because the course is not an HOA property. The property of the golf course is from the developer. And we, the security people of the HOA, has been following these guys forever. And there's no way that we can reinforce the fines, because at the moment that somebody sees a guy going through the course, when our security people arrives, they are gone. Because we don't have the people right there just waiting for somebody to go into the course. We don't have enough people for that. So it's very hard to catch them. And once we catch them, we are not authority. We are security in a private development. So when we call the police, they just say, it wasn't me. And it's word against word.
It will reduce revenue, which will impact.
Let me tell you something about that, because this has not been yet enforced. So how are we losing revenue in something that has not been enforced? Because this is going to be enforced until January 1st next year. So if the people is not coming right now, and let me tell you that this is not something that is happening just in El Dorado. It's happening in the whole town. I used to work in hospitality in San Felipe for 17 years. I am still in contact with the people of tourism and Cotuco, who are the two entities from the government who knows about statistics and who is coming and everything. I'm in contact with them constantly. And it's coming down. Not because of the people doesn't like San Felipe or this or that, it's because the weather is cooling down. That's the thing. And the people still in the United States is afraid to come into Mexico. And we hear in the news daily, don't go to Mexico, they are rapers, they are killers, they are this, they are that. So that affects our tourism. Yes?
How about anybody who wants to use the ATV here has to sign a waiver saying
We have done that. We have done that.
They've been caught, they confiscate the ATV. No fines, no police.
Who is going to confiscate that? It has to be an authority.
Security.
No, we can't. Legally, we can't.
The security here is not a police force, sir.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm talking about a permit.
It's not valid.
Why could that not be valid?
Because it's not valid. You have to go through Mexican law to see that that's not valid.
Somebody has to agree, I give up my ATV if I drive on the golf course.
No way.
I would like to say that I fully support this new policy. I would like to see this ranch be a place where people can come and enjoy and relax and be peaceful and quiet and go to the beach and go to the pool without ATVs running all up and down here. I totally support this. I wish we would have done this years ago. The security here is not a police force, and they should not be put in a position to enforce laws. They do not carry guns. People that are doing this are drunk. They're riding around. They're belligerent. Okay, how would you like to do that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to say that I agree with that. When I moved here, I was told you can have the ATV to drive to the other side. This wasn't an area for ATVs to drive around in because it would make it peaceful and just nicer. So I was always under the belief that they shouldn't be driving around here. They would go to the other side.
So the big difference is that this side is the resort. Over there is the retirement community. And it has a wonderful track there to run your ATVs on.
Just to finish this discussion, very soon, I mean like next week, we will send out in the newsletter the complete full information about what is permitted and what is not permitted. So in that way everybody will know. There is an exemption to a rule which is in the Baja 250, and that's taking care of the renting of the condos, because that's the heaviest rental season in the year and Easter season. But only in the 250, trophy trucks will be allowed in, and not any vehicle who will race will be accepted, because they are not running around. They bring them just to go and race and get back. But if these guys brought toys, they will be in the parking area across the highway. Because the ones that run those ones are their sons, the children. And those are the ones that do whatever they want.
I won't answer the lady. I won't answer the lady who says she lose your income on the rental. Rental not depend on the ATV people driving around, and we living here full time, and we hear noise, we have problems, we have drunk people driving, people walking here on the range, and they driving not stopping, let people walk across the street. So if you will try to live here, you will not keep our 15-minute discussion for nothing. This baseless time which we spend here discussing, this is the rules. People coming with ATV need to park across the street. That's it. If you do not agree with these rules, don't rent your condo.
One thing that I want to say is, like I say, I have been in hotelery for 17 years before. I learned that we don't have to kill the golden eggs hen. So the business here for the renters is the people who comes to enjoy El Dorado. And El Dorado is the community owned by the owners. They are our guests, but they have to be in. And if they treat well the people of El Dorado, there shouldn't be restrictions, but they haven't done it. So we have to act on that. They are learning And the supervisors can attest to that. Because in the beginning, we have in the violations report from security, let me tell you, everything. Right now, there are incidents, but the people is learning. There's always new people who doesn't know the rules, who doesn't know what is going on, and they break the rules. But we work with them. So we have to keep that going in a good manner. Yes, Leslie.
One question I've always had, we live on the golf course, and so we have seen the ATVs going around the golf course, hot dogging it, jumping around, young people, all ages. And maybe I've lived in America too long, but I wonder if somebody hot dogging on their ATV gets hurt, is Eldorado Ranch liable? Because as an HOA, and we have a professional organization here, we're allowing this. I mean, I'm in favor that the ATVs cannot ride on the recreation here. But I've always wondered, when you allow that, are you putting Eldorado Ranch at liability if somebody gets hurt?
Could be. Could be. Yes.
If anyone's used to controversy, it's me. But I think as the more I listen, I'm realizing that perhaps over a period of time, the demographic of our renters is going to change, and I think favorably. You know, as some of these programs get implemented, the ranch is going to be quieter and more peaceful. That goes for the pool also, which I was, against. And perhaps that's the person that we want down here, regardless of ethnicity and so forth. But the older, more sedate, most of us moved here not for the party atmosphere, but for the pace of life and the peace and the freedom and the quiet. We have Pete's Camp next door to service, the younger crowd that wants to be a little more rowdy. And so maybe in long term, short term, yes, I would agree this is going to affect rental income. But there may in fact be a lot of people currently wanting to rent at a certain time of the year that goes in and finds that those days are all sold out because racers and race fans know ahead of time, and Easter people know ahead of time, and they book these things up way ahead of time. So we may find that if in fact those renters go down, that there's another group available to rent, and that may in fact be a more desirable group. So I think maybe we need to give this thing time, see how it works out. I think certainly if the ranch gets its financing, a lot of things are going to change. Obviously, if you say 5% of the income or extra income cannot exceed 5% of dues, well, obviously, as dues go up, as more property is sold and so forth, we're going to have a lot more room in that 5% to start charging other fees and so forth if we want. So all these things can dramatically change. I think it's just the pain of the way things are right now that made it not look so good. But I think we need to look beyond that.
Yes, I agree with you because, yes, we have been tightening our belts, but the time is coming when we will grow up fat and we will have that cap higher because, yes, when we have more people paying their dues, we will have more income in dues, so the cap extends. That's right.
Okay, just a final word. I think you're absolutely right. The demographic that we are looking for here for the seaside is the older demographic, and they're more likely to buy here once it's nice and quiet and they have a quiet pool and they have tennis courts and pickleball courts and all that, and they don't have to listen all day to the roar of ATVs running around, okay? They're more likely to buy here, so it's good from just a number of ways. Okay, thank you very much. I think it's time to start lunch. So, okay. Well, I want to thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. We still have a little bit more to go through, but it's going to be fast. I know that everybody wants lunch, but I can't already say it. Okay, the next point that we are going to review is the budget. The the budget will be the last item. Then we will close the assembly, and then will be more questions and answers at the end of it. Here is our budget page, the first one. I will read it from left to right. This is the budget that we have for 2019, the projection year number ending of this year, and this is the budget for 2019. We try to accommodate closer to the best number we can achieve with the income we have, with the plans we have to develop, the work we have to do. Like Hans said before, we have 356 paying owners, which this year that represented 692,423. The projection number that we are thinking we are going to finish is 639,000, and the budget for 2019 is 678,466. The other income we have is the Las Villas, which is 109,144. The projected number for this year finishing is 109,144, because that's an established number, and the budget for 2019 is 99,576. Estimated collections this year were 95,000. The projection we have right now is 45,000. And the next year we projected at 50,000. DRC, 9,000 in the budget of 2018, projected number 7,500. For next year we have 8,000. Unresourced fee, 5,000 in 2019. We will have the same number at the end of the year, and in 5,000 again. So for a total income budgeted for 2018 was 910,567. Projection number is 805,644, and the budget for 2019 is $841,042. In expenses, general administrative, there are salaries, maintenance, supplies, utilities, and IVA costs. Total administration expenses is $173,790 for 2018. The estimated number is $158,949. You can see that even that we are not getting the dues paying money expected, we could heavily into the expenses too, so we can get our numbers right. For the next year, we have a budget of $161,032. In general maintenance, expenses include administration, sewage treatment plant, maintenance, pool expenses, supplies, utilities, and IVA cost is the tax, sales tax. So in general maintenance for 2018, we have $381,766. The expected number we are finishing with is $339,545. And for the next year, we have $345,392. Here we could, in the expenses too. Next one, please. In activities, it's again administration, supplies, utilities, and the cost of the sale tax. Administration, $13,093 for the budget of 2018. In the expected final number is $12,995, and the budget for next year, $12,663. Activities in total, 16,240 in 2018. Expected number is 6,204, and the budget for next year is 50,808. Security Department, Administration, Security Department, City Police, and the sales tax. The total Security Department, 107,417. Expected number to finish this year is 101,628. And for next year is 97,381. Indirect cost, this is contracts. For example, here is BMC, Biomedical Clinic, and some other contracts we have. It's a total of 241,142. The expected number we are finalizing this year is 206,699. And for the next year is 221,412. Total operational expenses for 2018 is 910,567, sorry. Estimated final number is 805,644, and for the next year is 841,042. This budget represents a fine increase in dues, which is less even than the inflation, so we are trying to keep it as low as possible. The whole information about the budget, it's in the website. You can find it there if you want to review it line by line. All the information is there, so you can see it. Okay, this is the budget that we have at La Ventana del Mar. You will receive it in your email, in your mailing that we sent through Concord, so you have had time to think about it. Now, we have to vote on the budget. So, do I have a motion to? Yes.
So if we have 8% decrease in our budget, how come a 5% increase in dues? Can somebody explain this?
Yes.
Because we lost a lot of people.
Yes, it's less people paying. That's why it's this.
But we have decrease in budget for 2019 at 8%. We have increase in dues in 5%. It's somehow it don't work logically.
Well, look, if you have less income, we have, what is it, 50 people, less people are paying dues?
No, but you see, if we decrease our security cost, if we decrease our indirect cost, if we decrease our maintenance cost, okay? If all this stuff decreased, this means our dues should not be increased.
No,
But
let me say.
decrease more. I mean,
We might have to go to 13% reduction, in other words, if we need more than 5% more.
One of the things is we increase, and it is in the salaries. If you go about line by line, we increase the salaries of the people, of our workers, because they have been affected very heavily. And this is just a 6% increase. No, 4%. 6%, yeah, 6% numbers. And this is because if you see the dollar, just the dollar, right now it's over 20 pesos. If you see the inflation, it's 6%. And we are getting people, very hard to get people. First, because we are the most demanding employer in town. We make drug testing. Right now, for example, our security people, they go through a screening that goes all the way to Mexico City. We are working with the company, with the Central Intelligence and the police, Federal Police in Mexico. So when we hire somebody, we check him from head to toe. And when they are accepted, we cannot hire them until they say, okay, he's clean. That's what the program we came into, making them, that we can refer them to be clean and good people, let's say that. So right now, when they get that, they tell us, you can hire him. Then we go with the County of Mexicali. There is a central for the police, and they come down and they take their boys' fingerprints, not yet the iris, but sooner. And so they say, okay, right now they can go to work. And our people, you know, they are not unhappy about that. They feel more professional. They say, right now we are certified. Right now everybody knows that we are good. That doesn't make authorities, but they are cheap. So in the rest of the departments, we don't make the certification, for example, in maintenance or that, because they don't go into all the areas or into the houses areas and things like that. They go only per request. But still the same thing. We make the drug testing, everything. And it's not easy to get the labor. We are 15 minutes from town. Many people say, oh, I have to take the bus, go over there, come back. And then I have to wait half an hour each time I go out. And I have to go half an hour early to take the bus. So many people doesn't like that. Many people that work with us like it because they say, I work down to our ranch. And they are proud of it, I can tell you. So this is why we have to think too in our people, because if not, we will not have people working. And I can tell you that one of the things that have always surprised me about El Dorado is that the people who stay for a long time. Here there is people who has been working with El Dorado for more than 20 years. Our average staying time in El Dorado, it's around 13 years, 12, 13 years. That's amazing. Anybody who has worked in the company knows that the average is around 4 or 5 years. Here we have around 12 and 13. And in a town like San Felipe, I can tell you that it's almost a miracle. In the hotel, we have a turnout of at least 35% of our personnel each year. Between the fishing and between some other things. Just like, I don't like to go in the bus to work in Las Misiones, and that was 5 minutes away from town. So that's one of the differences. You catch it and it's okay. We have an explanation for that. It's because we raised to the salary of the people. But it's not the same amount of money, because the 6% we are adding to, the 5% we are adding to the dues is over the total number of the budget. And the salary is only in each department. So the base of the number is very different. It affects, and that causes some difference. But this is not something that we are trying to have. As a matter of fact, yesterday in EDR, we explained it too.
One quick question on your told. How come there are $1,000 more this year than
Let's get that back.
The only thing, number that caught my eye that I don't truly understand is why the large increase in the utility bill. It's over $1,000. From last year or the year before.
Lalo,
Looking for an answer.
utilities son las energía, ¿verdad? Okay, that's very easy to explain. It's gasoline, it's gas, and it's electricity. If you don't understand it, just saw at your proper bills in your house. That's the explanation. As a matter of fact, this year, in 2019, the government gave us a big surprise at the beginning of the year. They hiked up 20% the gasoline price in 2019. And we are expecting, the new elected president says that there's not going to be one, but do you believe him? I don't totally believe him. So we are preventing part of that, because this year, if you see our financial, they are in red in electricity and gas and in gasoline because of that. Okay, yes, Ross.
The sewage treatment plant budget, is that for sewage treatment, or does it actually go to the sewage treatment plant? I mean, what's been done with that plant over the last 10 years?
Well, we have been repairing things at the sewer treatment plant because if we don't do it, it won't work.
Okay, I didn't know it was working at all. I thought.
No, it is working. It is not at 100% capacity, but it's working. And the rest that we cannot treat,
you're trucking.
We are trucking it out to the desiccations lagoon out of town, and we have to pay for that. And we have to carry it in trucks. We have, it has expensive diesel, expensive parts, expensive labor, people driving them. So all that money goes into that. But we maintain it the most we can.
I didn't realize it was working at all, so that's good news.
Yes, it is.
So what percentage capacity is it performing?
Right now I can't say, but I can tell you later. I can check with my guys.
Do you mean that?
Oh, we're talking about the one down here.
Yeah, the one down here. The one over there is not working.
Oh, okay.
That one is.
That's what I was asking.
Okay,
all right, thank you.
No, yes, it's down here. Okay, so right now, do we have a motion to approve the budget? Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye, please. Aye. Okay, passes if everyone is in accordance. Okay, this concludes the business for the ordinarias and the Senate motion to close the meeting. Okay, is there a second? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now I open the floor for more questions. We have had many already. Oh yes, sorry. I forgot. Yeah. I will give you a review of everything. Oh, by the way, thank you very much. We have not been voting by ballots, but I really want to thank you because you committed to make the counting of the votes. This has been approved by voice, but thank you very much for your help, for willing to help. Okay, I will show you a very fast. No, because we all vote by voice. We vote by voice, yes. For those of you that would like to see the slideshow that I have, the all things that we have done through the year, I will do it. But if you have been in the town halls, you have already seen them. For those of you who haven't been here in the past, which I doubt it's too many people, but I will do it. Okay. This is the General Assembly meeting 2019 at Ventana. We have been doing the beach road maintenance by the beach. You can say that we have a lot of suffering with Rosa. It destroyed many of our roads, and we have been working diligently to finish them, but it will take time. Next, please. This is where we worked this year. After Rosa, all of this was very damaged. Next, please. New flags in the entrance of Ventana del Mar. We keep changing them during the year because of the wind and the sun destroy them. Next. Next, please. This is the maintenance we are providing at the entrance. Sometimes the golf people loan us their equipment so we can repair these areas with the grass. Next. Garden remodeling. This is at the entrance of La Ventana and all the way down from the entrance to the condos area. Next. New reflectors installation. This is in the entrance too, so we want to make our entrance appealing to the people, beautiful. So we did this too, and this lasts for a long, long time. No off-road vehicle sign. This is one that it's already in place, so that people get a feeling of that in the future they cannot bring the cars there in. Next. We have redone many of the main manholes in the road because they were destroyed. So right now we have many of these ones redone. Next, please. Sewer manhole at Juanito's area. This one was already very bad shape. Right now it's back to normal. Next, please. Same thing at the pavilion. This was very close to here. Next. electric support reinforced. This is in the back of the maintenance warehouses. They were damaged, so if we wait for CFE to come, it will never come, so we did it. Next, please. Sewer plant near door. It was deteriorated. Right now it's back to nice shape, looking good. Next. Water pump cover at Palapa Pool. This was some danger there for kids because the pool is there and sometimes they wander around, so we prefer to close it and close it with a lock. Next. Maintenance circuit repair. This occurs from time to time, so we have to do it. Next. Another one in area 5. Sometimes we have to dig, take all the cables out, put them inside again and connect them again. Next, please. Area 9 electric cable replacement. That was a big work. Next, please. Another short circuit in area 11. Next. New stage construction. You can see it right here in front of you. All stage wood recycling. All of the wood that on all stage was done, we use it to make posts along the curves and in certain areas that at night it's not easy to see where the road ends. Next. Maintenance shop roof repair. This is next to the pickleball courts after the parking lot area. Next, please. La Palapa woman bathrooms, new mats. These mats are very good. They will last like for 10 years. So these are non-slippery. There's no way that people can sleep on them. Next, please. Handicap bathroom doors painted, and we add the sign in the front so that people know it's for them. Next, please. International Pickleball Center conversion. This was, they were tennis courts. Right now they are pickleball courts. They are very nice. It was a very good work. Next, please. This is the way they are looking now. And we will have the International Pickleball tournament in November 16 to 18. So that's something that you can enjoy. Next. This is another view of the International Pickleball Center. We make a plate, we make entrances, we redo the base, so everything is very, very good looking. Next. These are the bleachers on the side. We plant new plants, we do the walkways again, so it's nice, it's a prime class facility. Next. International Pickleball Center equipment, trash cans, coolers, and some tables there. Racket holders. This was done by the pickleball people in the club, in the pickleball club, the people of the pickleball club. They provide racket holders, and our people used to install them in the sides of the wood frames. Next, please. Another sign, this is finished product. Next. We repaired the perimeter fence behind the pickleball court. It was already very rusted, so we repair it, we repaint it, and it's looking good again. Next. Same thing at the beach area. Right now we are cutting them, then we weld them back so we don't have to work there making painting, spray out. So we take them to the warehouse, we paint them all that, we bring them back, and at the main time we put our replacement in place. Next. Same area, another perimeter fence repair. This is in the entrance. You can see here the building. This is the entrance, we repaired that one too. Padlocks, protection posts. This is some things that the visitors do. They have scissors and they cut the locks. So we put protection for the locks. They cannot cut them anymore. Next, please. This is for those protections, inside those protections, to keep the gates closed. Next. Trash container, we close it. So this is next to the warehouse of the guys. Next. Recycling box painted too. They were in very bad shape. Right now they are looking good again. Next. warehouse doors painted. This is in the back of where our crews work. They were looking very bad. I told them, you know, guys, this has to look as good as the front. So we did it. Collection office stairs repair. We received people at that office, so this was a little tricky. So we redo the steps and the side for wheelchairs. Next. Parking lines for Semana Santa or for special GA meetings or whatever, we do that. Next. Pantry streaming, we are in the season, we are already done, but we use the truck and we could trim the pantry. So next please. Same thing, we go all around the La Ventana. Electric house remodeling, you can see how it was, now it looks like this. Water pump repair, in this one it was heavy. We had to take the roof out and then we had to put it back, and 2 weeks later it failed. By guarantee they come back, but we have to take the roof out again and put it back again. Now it's working very well. We use that time to redo the roof with the waterproofing material too. Next please. We relocated the turtles, the sea turtles from Cachanilla to this side, left side of the pavilion, and the person who donated the sea turtles wanted to make a plate for Margarita, who inspired her to live here and go to San Felipe. Next. Metal fence repair of the Palapa pool area. Next. We replaced some of the concrete floors over there because they were already thinning out. Short circuit repair at main breaks at La Palapa. Right now they are repaired. Right here we haven't painted them. Right now they are painted. Next. They look like this right now. Next please. Water leak repair. We have a lot of water leaks. So we have been working repairing them. Next please. These are in the lots, so we go and fix them. This was done by the CESPA, the water company of San Felipe. Next please. Water leak repair, circle 1 area. This is in the main road, inside the La Ventana. Next please. Sewage plant connector replace. This is some of the repairs that we do. Sometimes we buy materials, different things. Next. New tools for the guys so they can work. Next. Activities that we do at La Ventana, motorcycle golf tournament, summer activities, full moon, bocce and prizes, new activities in La Palapa, the giant Jenga, which has been very good. Next please. And that's it. So right now, if you have any questions, it's Hans, Denise, and you four. Excuse me?
Past dues.
Oh yes, no yes, we have a collection department. Yeah, we have a collection department managed by Juan Estrada, and they have been good at it. If you go to the financials, on the web, you can see how much money has been collected. We are pushing all the time. Oh yes, yes. For example, if they rent property, they don't rent resources. They still can rent. But the people cannot use pools, they cannot go to